welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Scout Report, and it's time to look ahead to a nice, easy trip to St Andrews on Saturday afternoon. We have Jon Merrell joining us, the famous Jon Merrell. How are you doing, John?
I'm good, thanks.
Top stuff. And mixed with us tonight, our fresh off his sugar high of the Terry Chocolate Cream Egg Orange. How are you doing, Mickey? Feeling all right?
I'm good, mate. The search is still on. It's been reasonably successful so far. I'll give you a proper update come Thursday night.
This is going out Friday.
Well, by this time this has gone out. Well, you'll know them, won't you? You'll know the result. There she is. There she is.
You just got one, is that it?
Well, I've only got one left, John. There's one left.
Right.
Mate, it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer, let me tell you.
This is what the Scout Report needed. It needed chocolate chat. That's what it absolutely needed.
Well, there's no point talking about football, is there? Let's be honest.
Not really. To be honest, no. This is where we normally go. Talk to me about your season so far and this, that, and the other. But you're 8 points clear of set of third place with 2 games in hand. It just seems like it's been a stroll, really, to be honest with you, John.
Yeah, sort of. It's hard not to sound arrogant in the way that everyone accuses Birmingham fans of being arrogant. We've had some tough games and we've had some problems to overcome, but I would say so far so good. We've had obviously there's 2 losses. The Charlton one, it was a bad performance, but also you have to give credit. Charlton on that day were fantastic, and I don't think they've probably played as well as that for all season since. Shrewsbury was a bit of a perfect storm in the sense of, excuse the pun, but there was that storm on that day, and Ainsworth first game, and we defended like lemons. And even then we still only narrowly lost. So, but yes, other than that, we've. I think the style of play has probably helped in the sense it's allowed us to control games. So, if teams have found it hard to play against us, we're one of those sides we're really hard to play against because we've got so many ways of hurting a team. We're just not one dimensional. We can sort of go long, go short, attack with pace, counter attack. We're a bit of everything.
Yeah, and I think that's when we played whenever it was in September. That was the most impressive thing. What we often find with teams that come down to League One is that Sunderland, Ipswich, they'll find one way of playing, and that's it. And that's what tends to get them unstuck. What I noticed with Birmingham is you're first of all some giants in that team, which you often need in League One. But you are fine to just go direct. You were fine to play through the middle. You were fine to do 3 or 4 different things, and that's what we all assumed you would. We didn't assume that. We assumed you do a Sunderland, and that's why everybody said at the start of the season, "You're in for a shock." You're like, well, you've clearly done the research of League One and worked out of it, and obviously spent the money to back it up as well.
Yeah, I think obviously all our businesses. I would say Alfie May was probably the exception. Alfie May was the one where you would say you've had League One in mind with that signing because he is a League One goal scorer. Every other signing we've made is clearly with the Championship in mind. And I know a lot of people would say, well, you've got to get out of League One first and all that. But good players are good players, aren't they? No matter what level they are. So, if they're going to be good enough for the Championship, well, they should be more than good enough for League One. But yeah, I think we have recruited smart. We haven't done anything daft. I know people go on about the Stansfield one as being daft, but like you said, I think from a physical side of things, we are actually more physical than a lot of sides we come up against, which a lot of people don't really associate. I think the last 2 games proved it. Away at Wrexham, away at Huddersfield, they were sticking balls in the box, sticking men on, and we were able to bring on the likes of Bielik and Grant Hanley, who's come in from Norwich and that. Typically 6 foot plus big strong guys, especially we've still got Ben Davis, Clara, and so if you are going to pump long balls consistently at our box, well, 8 times out of 10 we're probably going to win that header. So then you're going to have to play through us, which of course is even harder. So I wouldn't say surprised, but pleasantly surprised about the recruitment this season.
Yeah, I fully agree. You mentioned before we started there's a few injuries going around. Talk about the injury situation.
We're obviously missing our midfield 2, Paik and Iwata, which have got probably all the plaudits this season. Iwata did actually make his return to the side last night against Huddersfield. However, He got crunched by an absolute shocker of a challenge by Hogg in the second half, which when I saw the replay, it's a horrific challenge. It's lucky it didn't break his ankle. So he went off after that challenge. So even though he came, I would be amazed if he makes the team for Saturday. I'd be amazed if he's not out for a few weeks. So midfield's a bit of a problem. We're missing Williamson, who's been our sort of number 10. He's out for a few weeks. I think he's meant to be back in training possibly after last night's game, but obviously back in training and being match fit are different. Of course, we brought Kieran Dowell in, so you would argue that that's probably a like for like number 10 replacement. So, but yeah, there's a few things like we've had a few. Stanfield was out injured for I think 3-4 games. He hasn't quite looked, in my opinion, fully fit since he's come back. Keshi Anderson's been out. Obviously, he made his return to the starting lineup last night quite well, as you may have seen the goal. I've been quite surprised. He's been amazing for us, but I've been quite surprised that he's come back from injury and looked kind of bang on it straight from the off. So yeah, but yeah, we still got. It's the midfield. It's the Paco, Water, and Williamson. We miss those players like anyone would at this level.
So let me ask you then: if I don't think we're going to win on Saturday, but if we were to win, what would have to happen for us to come out of there with, well, let's say 3 points?
You would have to be extremely clinical. I would say at home we are really tough to play against. I would say your best chance is probably going to be in the first 10 minutes. We do come out a little bit sluggish still at home. Once we get into that stride, then it's going to be a question. You guys are going to have to be bang at it, 9 out of 10 all over the pitch. Your defence is going to have to be switched on all game. And I would say set pieces is probably going to be the one area where I think you're going to have to take full advantage when you get to them. But if you look at the stats, it's all very well and good saying you've got to be clinical on set pieces, but we don't actually give too many away. I'll be honest, people don't often get quite close to the box. If, in all honesty, they get sort of halfway into our half and then it kind of fizzles out. So I just think you guys are going to have to be bang on it, and maybe in a few areas hope we're not quite on it, and then anything can happen. But
Fair enough. Is it for your confidence that, Mick?
No, not at all. But we're never going to be confident going into this game, will we? No. Had things been different, had we been able to hit our straps at any point this season, but preferably early on and continue, then this would be probably one of the best games of the season. Certainly one of the games to look forward to. Two teams that have come down from the Championship, scrapping it out at top of the league. Unfortunately, we haven't held up our part of the bargain, have we, by any stretch of the imagination? So I know it's negative, and everybody accuses me of being negative. It's going to be. I see it being a walkover for Birmingham, quite frankly. I genuinely do. I don't think we're going to lay a glove on them. We struggle. The issue being, from our point of view, is we struggle to lay a glove on Cambridge, on Burton. The two of the teams in the bottom four. There were periods, certainly last night against Cambridge, where, it was just so bad. It was so bad. Now we're going away to Birmingham, as Jon's just said there, sort of running away with the league. However many points clear of third already, on 60+ points at this stage of the season. It's a recipe for a thrashing, isn't it? And it is. And that the way we play, I just don't see anything positive coming out of it. I don't, and I hope I'm wrong, but
we don't thrash people though. That's the thing. We're not a side that will beat teams 3-4-0. We're not that way. We'll thrash you 1-0 or thrash you 2-0 if you know what I mean. The thing is, we're not particularly we are a good attacking side, but we're not. You would watch us play and you'd say, well, would you categorize us as an attacking team, or would you say we're a defensive team? I would say we're a bit in between. If you look at the stats, we're actually defensively the best team in the division, and our XG against is the lowest, if you look at it that way. So it's like, well, we don't actually give teams a sniff, but we don't actually create an awful lot of clear-cut chances. We do try and create that perfect chance, which obviously is few and far between. So hence why I say we We don't sort of beat teams 3-4-0. We won't take pot shots from 20 yards, for example. We'll look for the pass. So yeah, I don't think you'll get a thrashing, but also I think it's very hard to score against us. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's not quite Burnley in the Championship, but not far.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Do you reckon there'll be more business, or do you think you're kind of done for the season with transfers?
I think it's public knowledge. I think we're after a left back for cover because we lost Buchanan for a season.
Bramall's available.
I said a decent left back.
No, you never specified decent.
To be fair, I remember Bramall when he played at Blues. Great going that way. Couldn't defend for Toffee. But the problem we've got is we've got Cochrane, who's pretty much played left back all season, and he's been amazing. How you get somebody? I mean, we're not looking by all accounts to buy somebody. It'll be a loan. How on earth you convince somebody to come in and essentially sit on the bench if they're lucky and play the odd cup game maybe, or the odd minutes? That's a hard sell. I know we're top of the league, but if you're a professional player and you're going out on loan, you want minutes, don't you? So, but yeah, we're left back. I think that will probably be it, if I'm being honest. I think I would love another winger. I think we're short on wingers due to injuries and stuff, but I think we probably would do a bit of business there if the right one became available, which I don't think it would do in January, if I'm honest.
You're in a position where you don't need to worry about it. Not worry is not the right word, but you don't need to panic about it. You're not desperate to shore up everything. You're in a really good position. One final thing before we go on for predictions. Just one of 8 teams still left. Well, 8 more in the prestigious Virtue Trophy. We may meet again soon. How seriously are Birmingham take it, or have you just kind of stumbled through?
Ironically, we've took it more seriously than the FA Cup. I think that there is the manager would never admit to it, but I think there's a definitive want from above, shall we say, that the last time we were at this level under Barry Fry, we won the league and won the auto windscreens, as it was called back then. I think there is definitely a desire to replicate that outcome this season. If you look at the teams we've fielded, I think there's only really been a couple of games where we've rotated quite heavily, whereas a lot of the times he's picked quite strong sides. I mean, we played Fulham under 21s in the group stage, and he played our first 11, and we thrashed them, I don't know, 6 something or whatever it was. Where you just thought that's a bit unkind, really. But yeah, so I think the Virtue Trophy, I think we are taking seriously, and of course, I think, in all fairness, we will probably take the FA Cup a bit seriously because we're home against Newcastle in the next round. So I don't see us rotating heavily for that one live on the BBC. So, I think we've definitely got ambitions of winning it, shall we say.
Fair enough. Let's see what happens in the next month or so. Let's finish on score predictions, John. What do you reckon? What do you reckon the score is going to be on Saturday?
It's Blues at home, so it's standard 2-0.
I could see that. I could see that quite comfortably, to be honest with you. Mick, you will have given your prediction on last night's show. Do you want to repeat what it is?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, it's 2-0 Birmingham.
Okay. Fair enough. If anybody was listening, make sure you comment with your score predictions as well. I think we're all expecting a pretty comfortable afternoon. But it'd be very, very Rotherham United to lose to Burton, scrape over the line against Cambridge, and then go away to the runaway leaders and pick up something. It'd be very Steve Evans, never mind Rotherham United. But yeah, thank you very much, John, for coming on. And make sure everybody who is watching has subscribed and give the video a thumbs up as well. We'll be next up on Monday. There's no Sunday show, so Monday deadline day will be the next time. We'll talk about the Birmingham game and go through deadline day shenanigans and desperation, as it may be. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, John. We will see you next time. And as always, up the Millers.